You're listening to Real Talk Texas with local expert Steve Hakes. Now, here's Steve.
Welcome back. Today in the studio, we've got Carrie Panchuk from Housing Wire, and it's a great resource for people that want to know what's going on in the housing industry, real estate industry, lending, lots of areas to coverage there. And in the last few weeks, we've been talking a lot about this being a very hot market and multiple offers, and some of the topics we brought up. In fact, I've talked about the article that was on your publication there, Carrie, about a buyer that actually went that extra mile to try to get their offer accepted. And so we've got the opportunity to have that person call in.
Absolutely. That buyer is actually our real estate reporter, Megan Hopkins. Megan has done a great job with that beat, but one thing that she did that we found intriguing the past few months is she was actually buying a home with her husband. They are first-time home buyers, and they were out looking for, they were looking in North Texas, and as we mentioned earlier, there's now restricted inventory in ideal locations. And so when you find the perfect house, sometimes you're competing with multiple bidders. Megan went through that experience herself, but she also covers it for Housing Wire. So it's a pleasure to welcome Megan Hopkins in the pipeline with us. Hi, Megan. If you could give us an idea, Megan, just start us out a little bit. When did you start looking for a home in North Texas, and how long did it take?
Yeah, well, my husband and I actually started casually kind of looking for a home in December, kind of going into January, but obviously with the holidays, we kind of pushed it back. And we kind of started touring homes closer to February, and that's kind of when we became really serious about it. And of course, it wasn't really until then that we realized, the market is just super crazy right now. And I mean, we were going to homes and there were multiple people trying to tour the home at the same time. So we really kind of got, a firsthand experience about how crazy it was when we started touring in February.
Do you remember, and I think this might have been back in December, maybe January, do you remember how many bidders you were competing for just one particular property that you might set your sights on?
Yeah, I mean, for the second home that we actually put an offer in on, I know we were the first to put an offer in, and then within, I think, 2 days, it was not even on the market 2 days, and by the second day, there were 10 other offers in on the home, and we were the first, but 10 followed us, so it's extremely competitive right now.
In terms of, and I know you eventually, congratulations, were able to purchase a property. So congratulations to you and your husband for doing that. But really what intrigued Steve and what's intrigued a lot of our readers was your personal blogs about what you did to distinguish your bid. Because I know in the property that you eventually acquired, there's a story behind how you multiple bids came in, probably equivalent to yours and your husband's, but you guys were able to secure that bid. So I wanted you to take us through the strategy that you used.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, that was the third house that we bid on was the one we ended up getting. So after the first two, I mean, you fall in love with every home that you bid on, and, you expect that to be the house, and when that gets taken from you, it's very, it's frustrating, and it's an emotional experience. So by the time we were on our third house, we were just with the mindset that we're going to get this house no matter what. And so, we kind of shot from the hip, and then we included in our offer a photo of my husband and myself, and we included our 6-week-old puppy. It was a photo of the three of us, and I mean, how can a seller say no to that? And so, there were other offers on the house that we ended up getting, but the seller did specifically say that the photo was kind of what made them lean towards us. And, I mean, I think all the offers were kind of around the same price range, but I mean, I think our photo and kind of we included a personalized letter, which I think kind of, helped put a face to the offer and helped, them understand that we were really going to take care of the house and, treat it well because they've obviously spent several years, maintaining the house themselves.
And Megan, Steve, it was really cool to read that article and it really brought to my attention that it's not just all about price anymore in the marketplace, although I think that's a key indicator. I'm sure your price was up with the top prices the seller was asking for. Can you tell me, did you offer over listing price?
We did. I mean, not significantly over. I think we went about $1,000 over just so that if, there were other offers at list price, we would stand out just a bit. But I think everything was right around list price. Now, with that being said, on our second offer that we actually lost, the previous offer on the home, we actually went almost $4,000 over offer price, or over list price, I'm sorry. And, I mean, there were offers even $5,000 above us. So I mean, that house I think sold for about $10,000 over the list price. So in some homes, you were going significantly over the initial listing price just to even be considered for the home.
And can I ask what price range that was so I can get an idea what percentage over?
Yeah, I mean, we were really looking anywhere between $200,000 to $250,000. And I mean, like I said, the one house we put an offer on that we were not accepted was listed for I think $214,000 and ended up selling for I think $225,000.
As a lender, I would say I'm pretty comfortable with that because you're not going 10% over, so I would still be able to get the appraisal if you're only like 1 or 2% over the list price.
Right. Well, and one thing we faced a couple of times actually with two different offers is they told us, even if it doesn't appraise for this, the seller will likely ask you to pay the difference. So you'll pay the list price or whatever it appraises for, and then they'll want cash for the rest because, if you're not willing to pay that, there's another buyer around the corner who is.
And that's really how it's happening right now. And with our new appraisal standards in the lending industry, it's difficult for that appraiser to come until they get other people that have done just what you described, paying the cash over what the list price was or what the appraisal was. At that point, until those recorded sales come in, it's going to be hard to get those appraisals to come in for what you're actually offering.
Right. And I mean, for a first-time home buyer like my husband and myself, we've been saving for months just for a down payment and for the, traditional costs. We weren't expecting to have to pay extra cash just to make up the difference between what it appraised for and what we would have to give the seller. So, I mean, that wasn't even really an option for us. We faced a lot of, cash offers. There's a lot of investor activity in the area right now. So we came across a lot of stuff that we just couldn't compete with as first-time home buyers. And we kind of had to just accept that and move on to the next house. And, I think we ended up in the house that was meant for us, but it was frustrating along the way because there's a lot that you come across that you just can't compete with as a first-time home buyer.
Now, I assume you used a realtor?
We did. Yes,
okay,
we did. And
the other question I have, and I will mention that Megan's a millennial or a echo boomer too, depending on what category. I'm a baby boomer, so I guess you're the next wave of buyers really coming in the market, which is very interesting for me as to what the patterns and how you look for homes and things like that. What kind of social media you use, and we'll get into that in the next segment. We're going to talk about how Housing Wire is really focusing in on that with an expo in Fort Worth, and so you want to stay tuned and hear about when and where that is. If you're a realtor or a builder, you should be listening to Megan and really find out what it is that drives her to make that decision. So did you do a lot of online research yourself outside of what the agent was giving you?
I did, actually. My husband and I went to a first-time homebuyers course that was offered in Dallas by Redfin, which is just an online real estate marketplace. We primarily went through Redfin for just kind of on our own to look for homes. We had alerts set up, so anytime a home went up in our area within our price range, we would get an alert. So, we were touring homes within an hour of them being listed. And I know that sounds, like we're just so intent on it, but that's what you have to do right now is you just have to be you have to be prepared, and you have to really be the first one to get in there to even have a chance at getting a house. So we did use Redfin quite a bit. We, of course, went to the first-time home buyers class. And then, our realtor was very good about sending us, properties that came up as they were coming up so that we were first to know about, new properties in the area. But, we used quite a bit of our own resources online to kind of find out, what homes were coming up. And, of course, we did research before finding an agent as well. We wanted one that had good reviews and, really seemed like a good personality fit for us.
And did you do that research online?
We did. We just looked up quite a few different, real estate agents in the area and just kind of a little bit about them. Most agents have either a website that kind of has, something about them, maybe a Facebook page, just some sort of social media site that gives you a kind of a glimpse into what, what they're like and, kind of I guess what their goals are in finding you a home and all that. So I recommend, even in just writing about real estate, social media and just, being online is so important for real estate agents because as a buyer now, that is huge. That was huge for me. And even now I'm friends with my real estate agent on Facebook, so it's a great way to stay connected and, obviously I'll stay connected with her for the next time I'm looking for a house. So it kind of ensures that relationship stays, continues on in the future.
Okay. I'm a mortgage guy, so I'm wondering, do you have that same kind of relationship with your mortgage person? Did you go through that? Obviously you had to have a pre-qualification letter. Did you just have a pre-qualification or were you pre-approved?
We were pre-approved, but we unfortunately are not friends with any of our mortgage people on Facebook.
Okay, I was just curious. So, and there is a big difference, and we really focus in on that at my office. And if you're looking to be pre-approved or you're looking to get ready to buy a home, you want to make sure you reach out to us. Go ahead and pull out your cell phone, put in this number, 817-925-2546. That's 817-925-2546, and you want to put in the word buy, and we'll call you up and get you pre-approved. There's a big difference about that, and you've heard me talk about that on the show before, about a pre-qualification and a pre-approval where you're actually underwritten and you're ready to go. There's no hidden secrets that might pop up from the information the clients give us later. So there's a two-step there, pre-approval and then pre-qualification, then pre-approval. So, Megan, hey, we really appreciate you calling in today. We're running out of time. We want to spend the next segment. We're going to talk about social media some more and an event that's coming up, so you want to stay tuned out there. So thanks for calling in, Megan.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a great afternoon.